Chapter 4 introduces 4 new KiRaConte characters: Locke, Lena, Loria, and Aloka, the dynast of Orcunion. Locke, an aging air mage, cannot conceal the traces of time on his face. Nevertheless, he possesses physical strength that would make many envious. Recognizable by his short, graying hair and scholar's robe, Locke, Lena, and Loria meet with Hannibal to discuss the situation of the bone wall, isolating him for a detailed briefing. The 3 mages use their magic to create a delayed appearance of the rampart so that Hannibal can complement his perception with the image. He spots a sign that cannot be mistaken. In addition to feeling its vibrations, the wall moves as if preparing for impending danger. A flashback reveals that during his childhood, Hannibal feared the impressive creaks that the wall could generate during its movements. When he learned what it was, he became admiring of the demonstration of power. This is how the arc home of the earth naturally imposed itself on him. The attack begins. An aircraft tears through the sky, brutally killing a giant eagle flying over the rampart. There is no doubt. KiRaConte is under attack. Hannibal manages to contain his emotions just in time, avoiding any overflow in public. But for how long? The mages on site animate 2 stone golems with their spells to create a formidable defense. One of them grabs a rock, crushes it in its hands, and hurls the debris at the attackers. The stone projectiles hit the first plane, ending its course in a crash on the ground. The other aircraft fires a missile that strikes the golem's chest. The hole created immediately closes, and the blast's force is directed out of its mouth towards the sender. Ultimately, the explosion overcomes the first stone giant. The turbulence generated causes the pilots to eject from the aircraft. By chance, the robot pilots land on the shoulder and head of the second golem. Without hesitation, they attack the shoulder, amputating its arm, which crashes to the ground. The giant manages to fend them off or crush them with the other hand, but unfortunately, the robot on its head starts firing at its skull, which disintegrates. At a distance, Hannibal feels everything and barely manages to contain his emotions. The robots boast a little too quickly. The wall manages to catch them with its thorns and seals their fate by crushing them against the bones that compose it. Only the highest-ranking one will take the opportunity to cowardly exfiltrate from the combat zone. Fortunately for everyone, the attack is a failure. Under the influence of emotions, Hannibal decides to bring the incident to Solis's attention. Lena and Loria warn him. Such a statement in front of the dynasts could have dire consequences for Malka's credibility. A moment of hesitation invades him. Having confirmation that the attack is definitively over would be welcome. It would allow him to wait more serenely for the end of the competition before informing the queen. Unfortunately, the 3 mages struggle to catch their breath, and the rift degrading the power of their abilities. It is impossible for them to provide the requested information in such conditions. Despite the advice of the other mages and filled with uncertainty, he continues on his path and joins Solist on her carved throne. Back with her, Hannibal tries to find an opening that would allow him to deliver his information without the dynasts around suspecting anything. Solist doesn't make it easy for him and engages in trivial matters rather than listening. Moreover, she insists that Hannibal express himself intelligibly while calmly peeling her fruit with disconcerting composure. Solis's lightness reinforces his belief that she does not have the shoulders of a queen worthy of that title. Hannibal eventually cracks and delivers the information like a dagger, causing panic among all the dynasts. Strangely, Solist remains unmoved. Only the slightly more pronounced incision of the fruit she's peeling betrays the surprise she feels. To everyone's surprise, Malka reacts with calm and firmness.
The attack seems to be over and does not require immediate intervention. Let's not risk making an interpretative mistake.
At that precise moment, Aloka intervenes. This pale old man with white hair slicked back demonstrates a certain charisma and an unsettling presence. He questions Solist, who seems unwilling to act. Knowing the vulnerability of his territory, he fears that it might be threatened. Solist's poise and relevance in her words ultimately convince everyone. Acting now would be a monumental strategic mistake. Of course, she is furious, and the culprits will have to answer for their actions. She is certain that if she makes a hasty decision, the consequences could be much more difficult to manage.
This could be a trap or an isolated event, independent of the will of the Mantri people.
Solist is categorical. The Archontes will advance their pieces with tact and precision. Meanwhile, Malka insists that everyone resumes their activities as if nothing happened. She takes the opportunity to ask Hannibal to provide her with evidence. Not being believed on his word, he protests and lets his anger roar, pushing Solist to put him back in his place. His fury intensifies until the moment Solist places her hand on his chest, annihilating the most boiling of rages. Once calm, he understands that she has just made the most beautiful demonstration of maturity she could make to assert her authority. The audience is speechless. Hannibal tunes his violin to that of Malka and realizes that his admiration for her is growing. Solist discreetly thanks him by lifting the veil of Malka, which she promptly puts back in place. She has a strategy that no longer relies exclusively on him, but on her entire people. This new situation will be a source of jealousy.
Here is the Ordinator. In the next chapter, Aurel will have to show what he is capable of. Will he get back the necklace that Curtis stole from him? Subscribe so you don't miss anything.